Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The Federal Aviation Administration says normal air traffic operations are resuming gradually in the United States after hours of delays due to a technical fault. Planes were grounded across the US after a problem with the system that alerts pilots to potential hazards on flight routes. Flights from New Jersey's Newark Airport and Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport resumed slightly ahead of others due to air traffic congestion in those areas. Authorities are expected to impose a ground delay program in order to address the backlog of flights, which were halted for hours.
Yeah, so I basically woke up this morning at like 4:30 because I slept in the airport, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for my 6 a.m. flight. And then I saw that FAA was ground stopping all the flights, and I was like, oh, is this like another Southwest situation where like it affects one airline? And then I figured out it was every single flight in the nation was ground stopped, and I was like, oh.
6 people have been injured, with one in a critical condition after a stabbing at Paris's International Gare du Nord station. The attack took place at 6:42 in the morning. Within 1 minute, all 6 people were injured and the attacker was stopped. Authorities are trying to establish if there was a motive for the attack. Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin said a man was stopped by 2 off-duty police officers who were returning home from a shift. He said the suspected attacker was shot 3 times and taken to hospital with serious injuries, and he thanked police for their brave and effective intervention, which he said saved many lives. Brazil's judicial authorities have ordered the arrest of top public officials after rioters stormed key government buildings in Brasilia. The officials include Brasilia's former public security chief, Anderson Torres, and others responsible for acts and omissions leading to the riots. Mr. Torres denies any role in the riots. Colonel Fabio Augusto, the police commander, has also been dismissed from his role. It's after supporters of ex-President Jair Bolsonaro stormed Congress, the presidential palace, and the Supreme Court. The rioting came a week after President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, widely known as Lula, was sworn in. Tigrayan forces in northern Ethiopia have started handing over heavy weapons in line with a peace deal to end a brutal civil war. The African Union said it was a step in the right direction to end the 2-year-long conflict. Hundreds of thousands of people are estimated to have died from starvation, a lack of medical care and fighting. The conflict broke out following a massive fallout between the regional and federal governments. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed accused the Tigray People's Liberation Front, which controlled the region, of seizing military bases and launching an attempt to overthrow his government.
We are here to witness a crucial aspect of our assigned task as enshrined in Article 6 of the Ceasefire Declaration, which is the disarmament, demobilization and reintegration program.
Police in Germany have begun clearing climate protesters out of an abandoned village in a showdown over an expansion of an open-cast lignite mine. The protesters formed human chains and made a makeshift barricade out of old containers as police in helmets moved in. Police said the protesters had in some instances thrown Molotov cocktails and stones. The demonstrators, many wearing masks or balaclavas, have been protesting against the Garsweiler mine, run by energy firm RWE in the brown coal district of the western state of North Rhine-Westphalia. And the Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis has dismissed reports of an imminent repatriation of the Pantheon marbles, known in Britain as the Elgin marbles. Britain and Greece recently began fresh talks over a possible deal to end the long-running dispute, with Greece seeking the permanent return from the British Museum of the 2,500-year-old sculptures. They were removed from the Pantheon Temple in the early 19th century by the British diplomat Lord Elgin when he was ambassador to the Ottoman Empire. Mitsotakis, whose term ends in July, said he hopes to achieve the return of the sculptures if he wins a second term. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.